What is up? My name is Ehi, and I have been recently on a journey to try and make more plant-based decisions, and so here's what I'll be eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a vegan home cook, and today I'm gonna show you what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
My name is Chef Brando. I'm a plant-based personal celebrity chef, and today I'm gonna show you guys how I make my breakfast, lunch, and dinner extra succulent.
Okay, for breakfast I had this gorgeous vegan sausage, egg, and cheese on everything bagel. I put the Beyond sausage on the pan and get that right into the oven. Boil down and about a third of the Just Egg container in there with some pepper, some salt, some garlic, and mix that baby up. Now we're gonna put some vegan butter in the pan, and I used the butter just because it made it a little bit more creamy. Mix up the egg to the size that you want it for your bagel. Crumble the cheese on top, and I think I just crumble it just because it melts a lot better that way. And once we're melted, we're ready to build. Bagel down your Beyond sausage, beautiful Just Egg with your vegan cheese on it, avocado, arugula, the top of the bagel, and oh my gosh, look at it, it's so beautiful. I did not miss sausage today.
For breakfast, I made a vegan potato hash. First, I added some diced potatoes to a pan with a splash of water, then covered them and let them cook for about 10 minutes. Then I added in some oil, onions, mushroom, seasoned it with some salt and pepper and some fresh garlic, and then sauteed it up until the onions were translucent. Then I added in some diced bell pepper, chickpeas, and kale, and covered it again to let the kale cook down. Once the kale had shrunk down a bit, I added in some more oil, a little bit of low-sodium soy sauce, some paprika and cumin for a little bit of a smoky flavor, some garlic powder because you can never have enough garlic, and then I stirred that up again and let it cook so everything could get a little crispy. I really prefer savory over sweet, so this breakfast hash is one of my go-tos for a weekend brunch. You can customize it with whatever veggies you have on hand, but I find adding the chickpeas in really helps fill me up.
For breakfast, I made a succulent almond ricotta toast topped with some roasted beets, and we're gonna start by go ahead and slicing those beets nice and thinly, coating it with some sunflower oil and some za'atar, which is a Mediterranean spice, and honestly, you don't wanna leave that out. We're just gonna lay that flat, preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and bake them from 9 to 11 minutes until they're nice and succulent. Then we're gonna go ahead and get started on the almond ricotta, which is simply almonds, oil, water, salt, and rice wine vinegar. And I love this recipe because it's so good and it's so high in protein and fiber, and definitely something you wanna have early in the morning. Then we're gonna get started on our hot honey, which is simply agave, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, and we're gonna mix that up. And this is honestly a pantry staple. You're gonna wanna use this later. We're gonna go ahead and get our bread toasted. I coated mine with a little olive oil, and we're just gonna get it nice and charred on both sides. And this looks perfect. We're gonna lather that almond ricotta on extra thick. Top that with some of our roasted beets, which are so perfect. Honestly, you can eat these as a snack. Top it with some tossed arugula and some more beets. Honestly, it's so hard not to just bite this right now, but we're gonna go ahead and coat that with some hot honey. This beats any avocado toast that you've ever had, and honestly, I can have this every single morning.
For lunch we had this loaded baked potato, and I'm so excited to show this one. Put your oil in the pan for your bacon, and I use a thinner plant-based bacon because I loved crispy bacon when I was eating bacon, and so this was the best alternative I can find. Flip that a couple times and just get that onto your plate and let that rest. Then for our potato, I scored each side, just to get some air going in there when it's in the oven. Coat the outside with some olive oil and some salt to taste. Now I let the potato sit for a second just so I didn't burn my hands. And then I score the potato, scoop out the insides into a bowl, and that's what you're going to use to get ready for your filling. For the filling, I used black beans, some salt and some pepper, and some garlic powder and some vegan cheese. Mix that up. Then some vegan butter, some vegan sour cream. Mix that up. Now you're going to add your beautiful bacon, your chives, and your vegan cheese, and you're going to mix that up, and we're ready to fill it. Oh my gosh. So you're gonna fill the whole thing up, put your vegan cheese on it, some more of that beautiful bacon right into the oven to melt it, and wow, are you serious? Some vegan sour cream, some chives, and we're ready to eat it. Oh my gosh, it was so good. The sour cream was my favorite part. The cheese was perfectly melted, and it was so filling, honestly. It was so filling, and look at that bite.
For lunch, I made a veganized egg salad sandwich. First, I took some firm tofu, wrapped it up in a dishcloth, and pressed it for about 15 minutes to get some of the water out. Then I cut the tofu up into cubes, and then I gave it just kind of a rough chop to mimic the texture of egg salad. For the dressing, I added some vegan mayo, nutritional yeast, some Dijon mustard, a little bit of lemon juice for some tang, some black salt, which is gonna give it an egg-like flavor, some turmeric for a yellow color, a little bit of paprika, garlic powder, salt and pepper to taste, and some fresh chives, and mixed it up really well. Then I added my tofu in and stirred it until it was well coated. And you can see it's really starting to look like egg salad. Then I just assembled a sandwich with some arugula and whole wheat bread. I don't think I've had egg salad in like 10 years, and this version tasted so similar to the real thing, you practically can't tell the difference.
For lunch, I made corn fritters with a southern coleslaw and avocado mousse. We're gonna get started with some flour and some cornmeal, some baking powder, a little garlic powder, some salt, and some freshly ground black pepper. Then we're gonna go ahead and add in our plant-based milk and stir that till it's nice and smooth. Then we're gonna go ahead and add in our corn, our bell pepper, and our green scallions. And we're just gonna toss that until everything is well incorporated, and you don't wanna overmix this. Then we're gonna get started on our coleslaw, which is basically a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, a heaping tablespoon of vegan mayo, and a tablespoon of vinegar, a little salt, some pepper, and a drizzle of that hot honey just to bring it all together. And we're just gonna put that in the fridge to set and marinate. Then we're gonna get started on our avocado mousse, which is simply avocados, some salt, and some vinegar. Feel free to add lime, black pepper, or any other seasonings you like for your avocado, but this is so simple and so good. And look at the consistency. And then to our pot of a medium-high heat, we're gonna add our corn fritters and spread them nice and round. These aren't going to take long to cook, so you don't want to walk away from your pan while you're making these. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a flip, and honestly, you can eat these just how they are. And I'm just gonna start with some avocado mousse at the bottom, get some avocado mousse in between because we need all that flavor throughout the meal. I'm gonna put that coleslaw, and I love this dish. It's so light, so succulent, and it's the perfect summer lunch. I wish I could share this through the screen because the flavor is unbelievable.
And for dinner, we had this gorgeous chicken bacon ranch salad. So I used some olive oil, get that going for the bacon, and I used a thicker plant-based bacon for this one. I kind of wanted it to be more hearty for dinner. Some Guardian chicken tenders onto the pan, put that right into the oven. For lettuce, I use arugula and mostly romaine lettuce. Then I added some red pepper, some green pepper, tomatoes, cucumber, red onion, carrots, some bacon, that beautiful chicken we had, and mix it all up. I added my vegan ranch on the top, mixed that up, and then some avocado and some vegan cheese, and we're ready to eat it, and I'm excited. So honestly, I was really shocked by the vegan ranch. It was so good, and honestly today I felt like making this transition to more plant-based eating is gonna be so much easier with all these alternatives. I'm so excited to continue my journey.
For dinner, I made some vegan French onion soup. To a pot, I added some oil, vegan butter, and about 8 cups of sliced yellow onions, and then cooked that for about 20 minutes until the onions were translucent. Then I added in some salt and a little bit of sugar and continued to cook it down for another 20 minutes. Then I added some garlic and kept cooking it for about another 20 minutes until the onions started to caramelize and reduced down to about 1/3 of their original size. Then I added in some fresh thyme, a couple of bay leaves, and some sherry, and cooked it for a few more minutes until the sherry had mostly reduced. Then I added in some all-purpose flour, some soy sauce, some red miso paste for that great umami flavor, and 1 cup of vegetable broth. And then I stirred that up for about a minute until the flour and the miso had dissolved. Then I added in the rest of the vegetable broth and brought it to a boil. Then I reduced it to low and let it simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes to really let the flavors come together. Then I added some slices of baguette to a baking sheet and drizzled it with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper. Then I baked it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. To make a vegan cheese, I added some soaked cashews, some water, coconut oil, Dijon mustard, a little bit of nutritional yeast, tapioca starch, which is gonna help give it a stretchy texture, a little bit of lemon juice, and some salt, and then I blended it up until it was really smooth. Then I strained the cheese sauce into a small pot and brought that to a simmer. And you can see the tapioca starch is starting to thicken up here and turn it into our stretchy cheese sauce. Then once it had thickened, I removed it from the heat. Then I just took my toasted slices of baguette and began to spread on the cheese mixture. Then I took an oven-safe ramekin and began to fill it up with some of the soup. Then I just laid on my my little toasts with cheese, and I broiled them on high for about 1 to 2 minutes. Just be sure to watch them super carefully because they will start to burn very quickly. If you've been missing French onion soup or you're lactose intolerant, definitely give this recipe a try.
For dinner, I made a shiitake carbonara, which is so luxurious and one of my favorite things to make. We're gonna start by pan-searing our shiitake mushrooms in a little sunflower oil. Then we're gonna go ahead and add in our shallots, some salt, and some pepper. And we're just gonna cook this until the shallots are transparent. We're gonna toss in our English green peas and hit it with some liquid smoke to just get the mushrooms nice and smoky. We're looking for that bacon kind of flavor. This is a one-pot dish, so we're just gonna remove the shallots and green peas out of there and throw in our butter and get that nice and melted. Then we're gonna toss in our grated garlic and cook that for about 30 seconds before we add in our flour. And we're basically making a roux. So we're gonna cook that for about 30 seconds and add in our vegan heavy cream. We're gonna toss back in our shiitake green pea and shallot mixture and start to season that with some smoked paprika, mushroom powder, whatever seasonings you like. I did add some turmeric just to get that nice eggy look to it. And we're just gonna toss in our parsley and our noodles. To this, we're just gonna spoon in some pasta water and coat that nice and evenly. And now it's time to eat this succulent carbonara. We're just gonna top that with some parsley, and you guys have to try this recipe. You have restaurant quality pasta in your kitchen.